Wow. Good evening, Village Rising. How are you guys doing tonight? We are ready for a spectacular show. For those of you who tuned in last week, you know that we were live from Tulsa and we were at Tulsa Greenwood District. We are honored and pleased to be able to partner with the Women's Organization and the Women's Foundation, WEC, as well as the Tulsa Green District in the opening of the new Women's Tulsa Greenwood District Business Center. It is in the heart of Tulsa, Black Wall Street. It is one of the three centers that are designed and expected to open in 2022 that are going to focus on women in business, especially minorities, and showing business women how they can expand their businesses, how they can start businesses, how they can resources, funding, research. We're excited to be able to partner with that. We're also excited to be able to assist in the Tulsa Greenwood Health Center and Health District Alliance, which is going to be specializing in helping in lower deserved and poor communities, especially those who are enacted with sickle cell research. As many of you know, I am a researcher, scientist, and epidemiologist. So my field of study is rare disorder and rare research. I am also a business owner. So my field of data and research and science deals with outreach into the communities as well as research into policy and advocacy. So we're very excited to partner the Mays Group and Village Rising with the Greenwood District and with the WBEC to be able to help to promote women and business entrepreneurial sisterhood that we are seeing that is expanding. The pandemic has kind of taken a toll on a lot of small businesses, but it has also given people a lot of insight and it's giving people the opportunity to rethink what they're doing as far as where they are in their life, what they're doing, their expectancy, their goals. We see more and more women who are deciding to leave the 9 to 5 and to start that business that they wanted to a long time ago. We're seeing people who are thinking to themselves, you know what? Now is my time. And so, women, what I'm saying to you is it's your time. Women's History Month is coming up in March, but Women's History Month is every month, just like Black History Month. It's every month. Um, we have to learn how to live within our perimeters, but we also have to learn how to think outside the box. And so tonight, I am honored to have two amazing women with me who are entrepreneurs, who have been in business, who have been worked 9 to 5, who have jumped and taken that leap to get into their own businesses. And I am excited to have them. First, we're going to have Ms. Joycelen Prevost, but before I bring her on, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. What can I say about her? She is a phenomenal woman. Joycelen is a woman who is a godly woman. She's also a woman who is a part of one of the largest financial service companies in North America, specializing in sophisticated investments, mortgage lending, and all lines of insurance. She has been active in her community as far as the community center, community health care, board of directors for Jefferson Transit Authority. She's a member of Femme Fatale organization. She's a member of the New Orleans Black Chamber of Commerce. She is in a partnership with the board of directors for Russell 2000 organization. She's a servant leader. She's a community leader. She is a wife, a phenomenal woman, and she has one of the strongest women-owned businesses in the South. And we are just honored that she's taken some time today to give us some of her time to be able to share with us her entrepreneur spirit, also her investments, her business, and to be able to share with others how they can make a commitment to do better and be better. So without further ado, let's bring on Ms. Joycelen Prevost. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Prevost.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is an awesome, awesome opportunity. I don't take it for granted and wonderful work you're doing. So I'm blessed. I'm privileged to be able to be a part tonight. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, I want to start off with our audience learning exactly what you do, exactly what you bring to the community, what you're doing that's so phenomenal. When I get to talk to phenomenal women, it's amazing to me because our story is one of strong strength of Black women. I don't exclude any other woman, but I'm specifically talking to Black women. We have a strength that is second to none, and we have used that strength to help each other. And I think that is what is the difference with us talking tonight is showing that sisterhood, that bonding, the ability for you to take your precious time to be able to share with others so that you can help them build. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you so you can explain to people about building that foundation and exactly what it is. Thank you again.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. And this is, I mean, I really do. And this is actually, really near and dear to my heart, entrepreneurship and being able to not just talk about entrepreneurship, but offer it to other individuals that are believing for more. I've been in business for myself now. I'm coming up on 27 years, nearly 3 decades. And it really started because I got disenchanted with my job, corporate America. Now, mind you, 10 years earlier, this was the dream job, coming out of school, and I got my resume polished up. I got my sharpest suit on. I went in and I sold the director on why I'm your girl. I'm the person that you want to have in your institution. And I got the job. I became a medical transcriptionist and I spent 10 years doing that. But for women, life changes. I was a newlywed. And in those 10 years while I was there at the hospital, I started having children. I had my children, and after about 5 and 6 years of age, they started getting to those preschool ages, and sometimes they get a little sick, and they may have not been so sick that they needed to stay home, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to send them off on somebody else, and I really became the dream job that I thought I wanted. Had me boxed in because I had to be there a certain time. I only had so many breaks. I only had so many sick days off, and I don't know. I just never quite got getting those sick days put in enough time, the paid time off. It's almost like if I get 7 or 8 hours, I'd have to use 7 or 8 hours. I never accumulated a lot of time. And after several years, I really realized that I didn't mind working. I was a very hard worker, but I did not want to exchange my hours for dollars. And I was feeling like I was missing out on some of the most precious time with my children. And I did, I prayed for something. I prayed for something. And I remember when I got invited to a business briefing with my company. And I tell everybody, I know God did it. I do believe that when we pray, God is concerned about everything that concerns us. And I know he put me in the place I'm in because I never would have chose this. I was a transcriber. And transcribers don't talk, we listen for a living. And now here I am. I'm a public speaker. I spoke to as many as 50 plus thousand people. I get the opportunity to mentor and coach and teach people all over North America today. And it was because I did just what you said, Alexia. I had to get out of my box. I had to get uncomfortable. Your wealth zone will equal your comfort zone. And I'd love to tell you, I prayed for a lot of money. I prayed to get financially free, retire my husband, do all the things that the business has afforded us the opportunity to do. But I actually just prayed and asked God, if you can give me something that I could earn the money I'm earning at the hospital and I can have some freedom and some control of my own time, I'm willing to work. And, I got invited to this meeting and I joined the business. And today, I'm a national sales director with our company, and we have 9 outlets. We have 9 other individuals that we've help open up their outlets, and we sit in seats that we're helping them, in seats of supervision and run those offices. So it's a huge blessing. And as good as all of that is, we don't have enough agents. We don't have enough outlets. We don't even have 3% of the market share helping people financially, which is what we do. And if you're going to look at a business opportunity, you should look at one where it's an industry of the future. It's almost like when computers were coming, we knew they were coming, they were going to be big. Financial services is an industry of the future. It's never going to go out of style. And then you want to look at a business that there's a need that you can meet. So those both we have. And then we have a business model that there's an opportunity that, we can help people get started, go in business for themselves, and we help them build those businesses where they can come here. We got part-timers earning $50,000 to $60,000 a year in our organization. My daughter, who has never had a job, came straight out of college in business with me. She's a millennial six-figure income earner. She recruited a young couple in their 30s. They've been in our organization 6 years, and they're approaching $300,000 a year. $300,000, those are 4%ers in our country. Most people never achieve those types of income milestones. But here in our business model as an entrepreneur, meeting the need of the community and serving people, you can do great things. You can help a lot of people, but you can also help your own family. So we have a great entrepreneurial opportunity. And I'm so glad I took advantage of it because of what it's done for me and my family, but not, because of now what I'm doing, I'm affecting the community with opportunity creation for so many other people part-time and even career changes. So I'm blessed as a result of that.
Now, I'm going to ask you, you may not have those figures right in front of you right now, but just from a just, out of the amount that you guys have that are coming in and that are progressing and moving forward, how many of those would you say are women?
Well, and almost 60%. Actually, somewhere
Wow.
like 55, 56% of the people that come into the organization are women. So
That is
women is the fastest growing segment. Women are the dreamers. We're
right.
dreamers. We can't do it without the men. They're the logical thinkers, though. But women are dreaming. And then we're the ones that actually need a business because we have to take off years to go have children sometimes. And sometimes you can't take off. By the time you start having children, you're already overextended. You need both incomes. And lots of times we're the ones that have to end up taking care of our elderly parents. So we need the flexibility of being able, as life changes, being able to make those moves. So women, I say we need a business.
Now, in the programs that you guys have in coverage with the entrepreneur spirit that is obtained in the business, what are some of the benefits you say for, let's say, I'm going to just put out for a working mother or a single mother or a mother who may be in school or has two jobs that she's working? What are some of the benefits?
Well, some of the benefits is you'd be able to set your own schedule. You set your own schedule. When I got started in going in business for myself, I kept my job at the hospital for 12 months and I started this part-time. I was already on a full-time job. I already had responsibilities at my church. I already had things that I was obligated to, but I was able to start this part-time. And my first year here, I probably put in anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week. But I did enough where after 12 months part-time here, I was able to resign from the hospital after 12 months. But that happened because I had the flexibility of controlling my own schedule. So if you're in school, you can do this business around your school schedule. If you have children and small children, you can that is huge to be able to set your own schedule. And then it's a very, very it's a self-improvement program with a high compensation. So you're able to earn the income you need, that you're not overextended and working 20, 30 hours extra on a part-time basis to earn $400-$500 a week. You come in our business, you're going to get professional licenses. That's a huge benefit. Professional licenses. And with those licenses on our part-time contracts with helping families in just one area, which is our life insurance, you can earn anywhere from $150 to $400-$500 with one family. So I ask people, if you're able to help a family do the right thing for them, get the best type of insurance and enough of it in the event something happens, would you want to do it on a contract that you can earn $400-$500? If you did that, how many families would you help a week? So earning $500, if you help 2 a week, that's $1,000. So when I saw that, Alexia, I knew I was going to quit the hospital because it was taking me one paycheck, 80 hours a paycheck, to earn the kind of money that I started earning here part-time, just helping 2 families.
Well, that is amazing, because what that says is it's telling people that they have the opportunities and the ability to do this. I think so many people are so shied away from opening businesses or going into business for themselves because there is a hindrance of the amount of money it's going to take to go into business, the time that it's going to take to sculpt and to build their business. So it's a deterrence because people are like, okay, I've got children, I've, I'm in school, or I've got my husband, or I've got this going on. And so people are looking at the, what are we doing? Like, how can we do this without us having to say, we can't do this or we can't do that? So what people need to see and what people need to know is it's possible, that
Yes.
it is possible. And listening to your story and the story of many others, what it says to people is that this is possible, it can happen, and you can do very well at doing this. So this is something that is going to be beneficial for others. And with saying that, I'm going to now bring in um, one of those people that you have been able to help to bring along, that has come aboard and is doing very well in the business, and is what I like to call one of your mentees. Can I say that? Mentee?
Absolutely.
One of
Absolutely.
your mentees,
Your
and is
friend.
doing well in the business. And, one of the things about sisterhood is that it's not just a word. There's a lot of people that are in sororities, a lot of people that are in business organizations, social organizations, civic organizations, but that word sisterhood kind of gets thrown around a lot. And so it's always good to be able to have a real sisterhood where women are uplifting each other, helping each other to go to the next level. And there's no animosity, no jealousy, nothing but strong sense of togetherness, unity, and building. So we're going to bring on Mrs. Tanner, who is going to join us now and give us a little bit of an intro about who she is, what the business has done for us, for her, excuse me, and what she is doing as far as in her building of her team, and what she can share with others on how important it is to build. And so, Ms. Andrea Tanner, I welcome you. And we're going to let you tell us a little bit about what you're doing in business and what brought you to this. Because we know that you had a 9 to 5. You are, by profession, a registered nurse and one of the best, if I can be a little biased. And so I want you to explain to our listeners tonight, what brought you into the business, and besides having a great mentor and someone who could really help you to navigate the business, what keeps you in the business? So, Mrs. Tanner.
Hello. Hi, my name is Andrea Tanner, and initially what brought me into the business is, like she said, flexibility. And as even as successful in my professional career as I've been, you always like to have options. And this business has given me the ability to have options. And off and on throughout the different years, I've been able to take positions that I wanted to, and because of the gifting of teaching and training that I've been passed on, it gave me the ability to teach high school, to do other things that I would not have been financially able to do had I not had this business, because it this wasn't financially practical. Um, Moving into those positions of servitude versus being able to pay your bills. So the business has given me a lot of options in that way. It also gave me options to choose where my kids went to school, to be able to send them to where they wanted to go versus where they were districted to go. And so over the years, and the business has also helped me personally because I was a client first. So as a client, it gave me my own financial plan and helped me to move and achieve my own financial goals, and to put my personal plan in place in order to build on that foundation too. Um, Women, like she said, like Dr. Joy said earlier, we're privileged to be talking to two doctors on the line. In case everybody didn't know, we have both our doctors on the line. Um, when you say, when you have choices or options, then you can do different things with your life, and that's what what the business has, afforded me to be able to do.
That's awesome.
Well, great. So we're going to talk about that because a lot of times people see celebrities and superstars and all these people who are put up in front of us, and they get the accolades, and so it makes people have these dreams of grandeur, and they're looking at this to the left instead of looking at something that's really, really viable, and that's entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
um, you can be your own celebrity. I always tell people you can be your own superstar. You should be cheering for your own team. And when
Mhm.
I say that, I'm saying here we are, three women that are all entrepreneurs sitting on a stage discussing things that can help our communities, that can help
Mhm.
other people to be able to manifest their own destiny. And we're not Cardi B, we're not Meg Thee Stallion, and we're not Tamla Man, like to throw in there. But what we are normal women who are making grand strides to be able to not only impact our own family in positive ways, but to also impact our community in positive ways. And so it's important, representation matters.
Mhm.
And so it's important that uh, I remember you speaking just a few minutes ago about your daughter, Joycelen,
Mhm.
that she is a young person who already has her foundation in place and is continuing to grow. These are the things that we need to be teaching our children.
Mhm.
Financial planning is something we don't talk about. Uh, in our communities, we don't discuss proper planning. This is why you have a lot of kids go off to college, and the first thing they do is get credit cards, and then
Yes.
those credit cards are maxed out, and then they don't realize that they're paying off those credit cards for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so they don't understand about investments. They don't understand about um, getting things that they'll invest in something like some $300 shoes, and I tell them that you can get them red bottoms, but when you scuff them up, they've already lost their grandeur. You could have invested that amount of money into something. But again, we can't blame people when they don't know,
Mhm.
because we haven't done as a society, as a community, we have not done a great job of explaining to our children, our grandchildren, our cousins, our sisters, our brothers, our nephews, our friends, our neighborhood friends, exactly how important it is. And sometimes we have people who obtain information and they act like it's a top secret, like like it's Secret Service or something, instead of sharing it. Knowledge is power.
Yes.
And so if you're able to share with others, then we can all eat at the table. There's nothing wrong with sharing that 10 pounds of crawfish. I know we don't like to, but there's nothing wrong with sharing it, because if we're sharing, guess what that means? We all eat, right? And we can all
Mhm.
eat. We don't need to have one person over there at the table with all the crawfish, because that one person is only going to benefit themselves. But if we take them
Mhm.
10 pounds of crawfish, now y'all know my analogy. We're from Louisiana, so I'm sorry. I got to split it up like that. But if we take that 10-pound crawfish and we put it on the table and we all share it, then we all eat. So
Mhm.
strange analogy, but it's letting people know that if we lift each other up, if we
Mhm.
lift each other up, and I say this all the time, sometimes I'll even speak to people about it in a one-on-one manner. Listen, if you've arrived, squat down, reach your hand down, and pull the next person up. That's the
Mhm.
only way that we're going to build. See, if I'm jealous because Andrea's made it or Joyce's made it, and I'm sitting over there in the corner mad, instead of trying to learn from them what I can do and how I can advance, then I'm missing my own blessings.
Mhm.
And that's a problem that we have to push forward. And sometimes that means being a little pushy. Sometimes we got to be a little pushy to make people understand a little bit. So, what I want to do with you two amazing people is I want to, Joycelyn, let you explain to people about building. I want to say this because I want to lead in with this. Today, I was scrolling on social media and I counted 11 GoFundMe's for people who died. And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this because this is a major problem in
Mm-hmm.
communities, especially communities of color.
Yes.
When Lil Raymond dies, if Lil Raymond didn't have insurance, we all get the news Lil Raymond died. And then once Lil Raymond dies, then we learn that Lil Raymond, nobody had insurance for Lil Raymond. So now we've got to try to bury Lil Raymond. So now we've got to get everybody together and we've got to start passing the plates and getting some money together and having some plate lunches and some this and some that so that we can bury him. When Lil Raymond could have had a policy for just as much as does ball of crawfish that they ate at that table. See what I'm saying? That the ball crawfish that everybody sat down and ate, that would have been Lil Raymond's policy for that month and every month after. Listen, celebrities. We know AJ Johnson just died. He was a comedian, world renowned comedian. We all know him for Friday. He died, and they had to have a GoFundMe to bury him. Now, I'm not even talking about Lil Raymond from the community. I'm talking about AJ Johnson, who was a celebrity. We all know him from Friday, as well as stand up comedy. He had no money. At one time, this man was getting $2 and $3 million for movies, but they had to hold him on ice until they could get the money raised to bury him. We've got to talk about that and we've got to let people know how easy it is to have life insurance, how accessible it is, and how minimal cost it is. So I'm going to turn it over to the experts and I'm going to let you explain, Ms. Joycelen, and how easy this is and how we build this foundation, how we get here and how we maintain and how we move forward so that we can have a future for ourselves, our grandkids, and our great grandkids.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And this is a great opportunity. Again, I can't say enough about how excited I am about this platform of educating, because that's what it's all about. Because I do believe that when people know better, they do better. So a strong foundation financially is actually what we teach. And we teach that you should have a strong house, and a strong house foundationally needs to be protected. So when you talk about life insurance, a good way to measure, do I have enough life insurance? You would ask yourself, if for some reason something were to happen, I were to die untimely, and I leave behind children and I leave behind financial responsibilities, the money that I'm leaving behind in the life insurance that I have, would it be enough to take care of my family? Would it be enough to take care of the responsibilities that I was taking care of when I was yet alive? And if it's not, your family's in a danger zone. We teach that you should be typically looking at, to be adequately protected, having at least 10 to 15 times the amount of your annual income in life insurance to be adequately protected. Life insurance is not just to bury us, it's to sustain a lifestyle, a quality of life. And it is truly the only way that some of us will leave inheritances, to children's children. So you instantly, if you have no life insurance and you buy a $300,000 policy, instantly you have a $300,000 estate. And just as you just said a minute ago, Dr. Mays, lots of times if you got the right type of insurance, you can get it very, very inexpensively. A lot people most times haven't been educated on the right type of insurance, and that's what we do with our company. You can 30-year-old that doesn't smoke and get $250,000-$300,000 in life insurance for less than $40 a month. It's very inexpensive. So all you have to do is get with one of us and we can show you how to put together a plan to have your family adequately protected. I say to people, if it's taking two incomes, it says you got a dual household, you married, you are earning income, your husband's earning income, and you all have children, and somebody dies, um, unforeseen or prematurely. You just talked about the number of GoFundMe's that's just on your page. So now you once had two incomes to have the lifestyle you had, to raise the children, to pay the bills you had. And now those two incomes, one is gone. So one person is now left standing to do what two used to do. How do you step in and go on and continue to raise your children and do what two incomes used to do? Life insurance can do that. And those are things that we sit with families, we show them how to put it in place. And you have in this country 68 million Americans that have no life insurance. And we talk to a large percentage of people who have insurance only on their jobs, which means in the event something happens, you have to make sure you're still on your job. And by the way, your jobs are not necessarily concerned about making sure that your lifestyle is going to be sustained. So they give us those. When I was at the hospital, they gave me a policy. It was a benefit because I was a full-time employee. It's typically your annual salary. Sometimes you can purchase 3-5 times more, but a lot of times people don't have but small policies on their job, and if they leave those jobs, that's not necessarily so that you'd be able to take those policies with you. So you should have your own financial plan. It's very, very affordable, and especially if you get the right type of insurance, which is term insurance, very, very inexpensive insurance. You can pick up any money magazine right now and read that. It's not just me or my company saying that. You can pick up, the financial experts are saying that term insurance with a good mutual fund attached to it is the best buy for families. So that's what we teach, Alexia.
So let me ask you a question. You basically, I was just doing some numbers while you were talking. So basically, for like 37 cents a day, the average 30-year-old could have life insurance to cover them. So mom and dad, sister, brother, whomever, I'm just speaking if they're single, is not going to have to worry about something. If something happens to them, they're not going to have to worry about their insurance.
Exactly.
So basically, we don't even have. I used to say a candy bar, but we don't even have a candy bar that's cheap.
No.
So yeah, basically 36 to 37 cents a day is
Yes.
what it costs them. So what what do you when you're talking to someone, let's just say I'm a college student and I have no life insurance and my parents don't have life insurance on me, what would you suggest for that college student who is in college and likely their livelihood is going to school and getting good grades, we hope, but also a little bit of partying and doing other stuff, so they're kind of that risk factor without being a risk factor. What would you suggest to someone like that who is looking to get some insurance?
Right. Well, what you can do, I mean, it's very, very affordable. It's just as you just said, it's pennies on a dollar to be able to get a good life insurance policy. Now, insurance is not just something you can buy, you have to qualify for it, which means your age, your health is going to be determining factors in going through underwriting process. But you should, first of all, you have to look at it as it's a priority. College kids typically are still under their parents' governance. And if you don't know if your parents still have insurance on you, first of all, you should maybe check with them. And then you want to look into getting a policy on yourself, something that you can afford to pay for and commit to. It's just a mindset. It's a mindset. If something were to happen, you were to get ill, something were to happen to you untimely, and you got some in college, individuals in college that have children.
Mm-hmm.
And if something were to happen and they were to die prematurely, they know that their parents or grandparents are going to take care of the kids and they love them. But now you leave a financial burden on your family. So life
Mm-hmm.
insurance is something you cannot afford not to have. And I say it's better to have it 20 years too soon than one day too late. So
Mm-hmm.
look into it and make sure your life is properly protected and making
Okay,
sure that you have adequate insurance.
I have Chelsea, and she says, what about people who have elderly parents who have never had life insurance, in their 70s? Is there insurance coverage for them?
Yeah, now we can do insurance up until age 70, 71, something like that. And that's why you can't wait. You can't wait until you
Mm-hmm.
get ill. You can't wait, until you get up in your 80s and 90s and think that you're going to be able to get the life insurance. And sometimes people do that. They wait until And insurance companies, when you get insured, want good risk. They want to make sure that you can qualify for the coverage. So your health is a determining factor on whether you're going to be able to get it. So we can insure you up until age 71.
Okay, 71. Now, we've spoken about the life insurance aspect, but there's also other things that you guys offer within the company. So I'd like you to just kind of touch on some of those between you and Andrea, and just express some of the other things that your company has, because we want people to know full circle. You know, even though you guys are uh, one of the best in life insurance coverages and making sure people understand and making sure that they have representation, I'd also like you to speak to some of the other things that you have in your company.
Yes,
Wait, okay, so I've got
Andre.
one of your people. I've got one of your people, Miss Joyce, and she said to make sure to say not just Primerica. She wants you to say your company name.
Oh, our team name is what she's talking about, the
Yeah,
PPE.
she wants your team name.
PPE, that's right. We're branding it. PPE, Prevost Powerhouse Empire. That's the most powerful organization. We're building a dynasty. So we have a lot of people out there, Alexia, that have and they've branched out into entrepreneurship, or they're aspiring to go full time, as I did 27 years ago. So we're excited about that. We're proud of it. And we need a lot of help. We need a lot of people. That's why we started out talking about why you should look at going in business for yourself. And to answer your question, savings is another thing that we do. 43% of American workers say they got less than $10,000 saved. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times people have had wealth to pass through their hands. Just think about if you were making $20,000 a year on your job for the last 10 years, $30,000 a year for the last 10 years. Some people make a whole lot more money than that. So you've had $200,000 to $300,000 go through your hands. And by the time you sit with a financial professional like
Mm-hmm.
myself, sometimes you can't put together $10,000. And that's a failing system economically. Saving is a habit. And it doesn't matter really how much money you're making. We believe you should be putting aside some of it, paying yourself. And most people pay their bills, they pay, get cable, they do all these other things, but they don't get around to paying themselves. So we
Mm-hmm.
look at that. We talk about building a strong house foundationally. You build it from the ground up with proper insurance. Then we look at we look at debt, average
Mm-hmm.
credit cards. People, you talked about these college kids going off in college and getting these credit cards, and sometimes they get balances of $15,000-$16,000 and making minimal payments. Most people won't pay that off. They won't pay that time. That's revolving and consumable debt. So those are things that we look at, and we give people plans to start working on a debt-free date, getting out of
Mm-hmm.
debt, setting up proper investments and savings, and making sure you got an emergency fund set aside, at least 6 months of your salary set aside at all times, and then taking advantage of tax shelters with IRAs and college funding if you have children, and then making sure that you're just setting aside money and invest and putting it in proper vehicles like investments. So when you get to a day that you can't work like you're working right now, you got
Mm-hmm.
enough money that will take care of you. So those are things that we do. Also, Andrea, if you want to add to it.
Oh, I was just adding to that. We really have a financial smorgasbord of products and
Mhm.
services that we can help any family with any need. Um, but as she was saying, we concentrate on the foundation because if we don't lay the foundation right, then everything else is going to crumble. But we also have investments. We have prepaid legal. We have identity theft protection because now more people's identity is being stolen than anything else. They're hacking into people's computers. They're stealing business information. So then you're being out in the air. And as part of our foundation, we also do prepaid legal where you get a free will. Because a will establishes what your wishes are when you're no longer here. So with our prepaid legal services, you get a free will as part of your package deal. So you're really covering all your foundations.
Okay. Now, touching back on that, when you're talking about a will, because the will coincides with insurance and investments. It all coincides together. It's all like a package wrapped up in a nice bow. It actually is the foundation, but it also helps people to be able to grow. Um, a lot of times when people die, we've talked about life insurance, but we've also talked about wills.
Mhm.
Um, we've had some of the most famous people just here of late. This is why I'm touching on this, because I want people to understand not only do everyday citizens go through this, but sometimes you have people who have lots of money and have not planned properly. So I'm
Yes.
saying that because your company has a way for people to not only invest, have their insurance, but also teaches them how to
Mhm.
plan properly and how to execute what they're doing so that it's beneficial, but it also keeps down confusion. We all know
Mhm.
when Big Mama dies, if Big Mama doesn't have a will, there's an issue because Big
Mhm.
Mama left 5 kids and two of them might be deceased. And so they have their heirs. And then there's the living heirs. And then there's no will. So we now have to get into this person wants to sell the property, but this person doesn't. And there's a lien on the house. And so I think proper planning, educating the community on this, not just what I've seen, especially with your company in particular, is I've seen that you have educational seminars and women
Mhm.
empowerment. I'm just going to say that last month you put on a woman empowerment event for the community that not only showcased what you did, but it also gave information and education and awareness to women in the community to
Mhm.
advance not only their career but their families. And so I think that it's essential that I touch on the fact that you guys not only provide a service but you also educate and you make the community aware a lot of times of the conversations that we don't want to have. Nobody
Mhm.
wants to talk about Big Mama dying. Nobody wants to talk about ourselves dying. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
think about that. But it happens and it's life and it's happening more and more and it's happening more and more to a lot of younger people. We're seeing the average age now dying is 47.
Mhm.
10 years ago, it was 63. 20 years ago, it was 78. So we're going lower and lower in age. And listen, our grandparents and great grandparents, they ate hog maw, fat back, all that. They ate grease on top of grease and butter. But the difference is that we're stressed. And I'm going to say that because, my field is research and science. And so I'm always into numbers. And so I look at the numbers and I try to express to people the fact that we're dying younger and we're stressed longer. And the
Mhm.
reason is because we have put ourselves into financial debt.
Mhm.
And that's something that our grandparents didn't do. If they went to the stores and they made a purchase, their purchase was strictly what they could afford that was in their budget. They did not make any unnecessary purchases that they couldn't because they didn't rely on credit. They didn't have it. It wasn't something that was sustainable back then. And so their stress level wasn't where we are today because most people in today's society are stressed because they're overwhelmed financially. And
Mhm.
so financial independence is not something that is taught. Financial stability is not something that is taught. And it is something that needs to be expanded more into our communities, especially with our younger kids, because they don't understand that. And a lot of parents did not teach that, and a lot of parents did not leave the ability for people to be able to sustain. I tell people all the time there's a difference in being rich and being wealthy. There's a huge difference in that. And so having financial independence is one of the main things that we have to start teaching our children. Um, that's full circle. We have a problem in our society that we're overwhelmed in debt. And one of the
Mhm.
reasons is that we have gotten into philosophy that we have to keep up with the Joneses. And listen, I will say that in researching this company and in looking at the company, one of the main things that is taught is that you want to make sure that you're financially sustainable for the future of your children and
Mhm.
grandchildren. And I think that's excellent because you're not in the here and now. The here and now is very simple. very simple to go out and make $10,000. But it's also very simple to go out and spend $10,000.
Mhm.
And so just because it's there doesn't mean that you have to spend it. And that's that financial education and wealth, educating the people so that they can use it for not just today, but for future purposes. So in saying that, I would like you guys to espouse a little bit more into the investment part of the company.
Yes, investments are huge, as we were talking about a minute ago, and really it's a next level, and a lot of times, people are not comfortable with investments until they're educated, until they understand how the investments work, and then sometimes they've talked to the wrong people, and they
Mhm.
got to have a whole lot of money, and then certain companies you do have to have certain amounts of assets before you even going to be able to get a professional to sit with you and talk with you and consult you. And that's what I love about what our company and what we do. We can sit with you if you got millions of dollars and show you how they should be allocated and give you our and advise you, or we can sit with you if you just a young couple or a young individual who have nothing and just getting started and want to start with this $25 a month mutual fund or this $100 a month IRA. We can sit with you and advise you and show you what you should be doing. We offer you what's called an analysis, a financial needs analysis. It's like a GPS or a
Mhm.
roadmap for your financial future. It's just what you were just saying a minute ago, Dr. Mays. We go through life and some things we don't think about, but think about it. A loaf of bread don't cost today what it cost 20 years ago. A home don't cost today what it cost 20 years ago. So 20 to 30 years from now, it won't cost the same. So God's
Mhm.
spare and we're alive. And if not us, our legacy, our children will be living. We can sit with you and show you with cost of living and inflation factored in how much money you should be saving or and investing
Mhm.
to get the kind of return you want on it, to have enough money set aside that when you get to the age you can't work, retirement age, and have a quality of life, that you got enough money amassed to achieve financial independence or go on to wealthy places, as you've talked about. So we can show you that. I think about my dad, and and the financial education that he had and did well with what he knew. One income, a truck driver's income, but just had an appreciation for saving. And we're
Mhm.
coming up in a society, in an era now, a microwave society. People want it right now. They want it fast. And then there's a difference in the appreciation, I believe, in savings. And now you even have dual incomes that can't do what sometimes one meager income used to do years ago. And it's
Mhm.
because of people's lack of education with resources and with money. We sit down with them and we really work hard to show you how you need an analysis. You need a plan for your financial future. You need to know how much you should be investing, how much money you should have set aside for an emergency if something were to happen. You get out of work, you know, you take off time to have children. You need a little bit more time off. You prepare. And the
Mhm.
next emergency is always too soon. So we
Mhm.
put those things in place. And we are already being notified, what's going to happen with Social Security. That's why we get those statements. I mean, who's going to wait and depend on that to take care of them for the rest of their life? So if you're going to qualify for it, you're not going to give it back. Of course, you're going to take whatever it is, but you could also have other funding sources like your investments, your passive income, things that you put in place where your financial planning comes in. So those are things that we sit with individuals, and it's personalized and it's customized. Nobody's plan is going to be like anybody else's. So when we start giving advice on different investments, we sit with individuals. We need to look at what they have and what their financial objectives are.
Mhm.
Hear from them what they want to do, and we can sit with them in counsel and give them a plan for what we believe is a successful outcome.
So let me ask you a question, and this is for both of you. When you decided to jump, or say I say leap of faith, when you decide to take that leap of faith, and we all know it's scary. It's scary to open any type of business, to leave the comfort of that stability, and to really take that chance. If you're talking, and I want to put You up first, and then I'm going to follow with Andrea. I want you to speak today to that woman that's sitting on the couch and thinking, this is so overwhelming. I'm tired. I've worked too many hours. My paycheck isn't changing. I don't want to really leave my job as yet, but I want to have something that I can look forward to. And I really want to feel like I could do it, but I don't think I can do it. So I want each of you to talk to that fellow sister out there and explain to her, encourage her, uplift her, but tell her why. Give
Yeah.
her your why.
Yeah, so you're right. We just had our annual women's conference. Really, that God put that in my heart and my spirit years ago,
Yes.
probably 20 years ago. And it's, yeah, Andrea's wearing her shirt, the Women Who Win conference, and it was all about women stepping up. And we appealed
Hmm.
to the whole woman, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. And we talked about 2022. God bless, as we rule during this era and we come out of this COVID. We are believing for brighter days. And so we talked about women stepping up, just stepping up in every area of our life. And I think what you have to do is you have to look at, do I want the next 10 years to be like the last 10 has been? And I think about when I was at the hospital, and I started thinking about, I don't want to be here another 10 years and be like these women that I'm sitting aside having the conversations that I'm listening to and the complaints. I did not want that. And if the truth is told, it was a little scary. Remember, I'm a transcriber. Transcribers don't even talk. We listen for a living. But I did the hardest thing it takes for a new person to do in getting started in something new. I stepped out. I stepped out on faith. I just decided I'm going to try it. Worst thing that can happen, I'm going to get some professional licenses and I'm going to make some additional income. And then I tell ladies, what if it worked? What if your story is like my story? What if your story is like a lot of the ladies like Andrea Tanner on here and a lot of the other individuals that are part of our successful organization and all across North America? We're represented in all of the states. You can, God, I just believe God is concerned about everything that concerns us. He knows what's in your heart. He knows what we need even before we know to ask. So if you are a little fearful, like you just heard Dr. Mays talking about, if the truth is told, I was too. But what I did is I felt the fear and I leaped anyway. I felt the fear and I did it anyway. I tried anyway. And the things, the confidence, the self assurance, all of the things that I was looking for at the beginning, I got some of it along the way. I got
Hmm.
doses of it along the way, and it was enough to keep me going. So get started. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose. Some of y'all prayed for something. Some of you made those resolutions coming into the new year, and bless God, you're still here among the living. And it's not just you being here, it's you continue to live and have a sustained quality of life. So that's what we teach. That's what we believe. We want to live that and show other people how to do that. So I say you got nothing to lose. Step out on the faith you have and see where it goes.
Andrea?
Entrepreneurship gives you options. And that's what I would say to any woman that's just listening. When you have options, then you're able to do some of the things that you want to do. One of the options that this business has given me is also to travel and to do things for your family that you would not have been able to do on your 9 to 5. And a lot of people look at my title and think, oh, she has all of this and all of that, and she's got it going on. But you only can do that when you're able to stand on your feet for 12 hours a day and work in an active role as a nurse. What she did not tell you is that I have 3 herniated discs and I can't lift anything over 30 pounds. So that gives me limitations to my career occupations. So this business has given me options so that I can be able to do the things that I want to do and not do the things that my physical body and my career limitations have placed on me. So my word choice for any woman that's listening is options. And getting into this business also, you develop spiritually, because you have to pray when you're going to talk to people, because I never take it for granted when I'm imparting into somebody else. I don't want to give them the wrong information, and I don't want to deceive them, nor do I want to risk the relationship, because our business is built on relationships. So once you establish that relationship with the people that you serve, then they stay. They become family, and you continue to impart in their life. So we don't go away like the typical. We're not a transaction oriented business. We stay around. So you can find us when you need us again. We go to your church. We don't disappear. We're not hiding. We're not ducking in the background. So it gives you that option, and it also, we can't do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical and still remain in business. So we can't do that get rich quick scam. So just be comfortable in knowing that whenever you take that leap of faith and go into business for yourself, you need to think about, is this right for me? And when you're looking at a business opportunity, you need to look at a company or opportunity that's stable. And we've been able to join forces with this company since 1977. It's a $1 billion industry. So there's room for me. And I'm not going to be limited, because we're all being able to grow together. So we're in business for ourselves, but we're not in business by ourselves. Because as Dr. Mays said, this is my mentor, so she's going to take me where she's already been. So that's a reason to join the business and become a lady entrepreneur.
And last but not least, we have had an amazing show. You guys have been amazing. You have been informative. You've been educational. You have been uplifting. And with all of the information that you guys have given and everything we've talked about, I want to leave off with you giving the people the information of how to reach you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can reach you. And also, I'll let everybody know that they will be able to go to Village Rising and get this information, but I want you to be able to give it to anybody who's waiting to write it down and get the information, and let them know how they can be a part of this, how they can reach you, and how they can get in contact with
Yes, awesome, awesome. Thank you for this opportunity, because I know there's some people out there listening that wants to make some changes. And I can be reached at area code 504-365-1050. Area code 504-365-1050. My office is located in Gretna, Louisiana, 401 Whitney Avenue in Gretna, Suite 110. It's in the Oakwood, right near Oakwood Mall, Oakwood Corporate Building, for the listening audience that's local.
you. Thank you. Miss Tanner?
I can be reached on 504-491-9998, and also at the number that Miss Prevost gave, because I work out of her office. Just You can reach me at either number, and we'll promptly return your calls. So again, 504-491-9998 and 365-1050.
And one last thing, because I just had a question popped up before it ended. Which areas do you guys service? So I want everybody to know you're not just a Louisiana company. So can you kind of just briefly say that before we go?
Yes, we are located all across North America, located in every state. We represent, I'm probably licensed in about 15 states. And the ones that I'm not licensed or contracted in, I have business partners in those states. And we have a program of networking that we can get you connected in the state. And we'll be able to have the relationships to connect you to the people in your area. So we're licensed in several states like Texas and Mississippi and Arkansas, and different areas that we have, Tennessee and Maryland, different office areas we have licenses. But the areas that we don't have outlets or licenses, we have partnerships that we'll be able to, successful partnerships that we'll be able to connect you with. So make sure you contact us and we will be able to get you started, no matter really where you are.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It has been my honor. I appreciate you giving our audience this knowledge, information, and education. And towards the end of the summer, we're going to have you guys back on to talk to us during Essence Week. So
Yes.
we appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you so much. Listeners, we'd like to thank everyone who's listened tonight, and we hope you've had some information. You can tune in to Village Rising to the page, also on Heart Media, and you can get the information that has been provided. And there will be a replay available for you to replay and listen for anything that you missed tonight. Thank you, ladies. It has been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.
Good
Thank you for
night.
having us.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.